What's up, demons and demonettes? Tis I, Atraxi Demon Queen. And today we're talking about the latest battle drill, the Shadowfrost Stout Recruit Battle Drill. But before we get into it, as always, toss a like and subscribe down below. Now, I've been asked to do these in the past. I didn't want to because on the last battle drill, Secluded Island, I had worked with somebody else to come up with the strategy, and they asked me not to release it. So I respected that. I didn't release it so they could get their edge. But hey, this is an Atraxi original. This is based off of my experience on the Pioneer server, and I think this is going to be the definitive best route that you can take. But before we get into the routes and all that other stuff, I want to talk about some of the changes that have happened. So the biggest change you're going to notice when you get into the actual battle drill is that they changed the way stamina works, right? You no longer set your bench. You no longer have a bench to set. So you can't do the stamina refresh trick. That is done. That is over with. Instead, you are going to get two types of stam. Now, I don't have any pictures from the Pioneer server because, again, that's not up at this time. But if we go into here and we go into this, right, you can see we get this thing. It's called a daily stamina. You're actually going to have two types of stamina. You're going to have a daily stamina, and then you're going to have hero stamina, right? Hero stamina caps out as 3 and refreshes 1 a day, and uses 1 hero stamina each time you run that hero. It's just to prevent you from running the same hero 5 times in a row in one day, or just in all of your squads. So right, so like for our bossing comps, we can't just consistently run a great debuffer. Like we can't run a Rainer 5 times, right, on a day, or at max 7 times, right? Because potentially we would be looking at running 7 comps, because what happens is at 90 tower power, this number goes up to 45. Now, I believe we get 15 stamina initially, and then it refreshes 15 stamina a day, and then that stamina goes from 30 to 45. Now, daily stamina works as in for each hero that you deploy in a squad, it uses 1 daily stamina, right? So it's going to use 1 hero stam per hero and 1 battle stam per hero, right? So whereas your heroes cap out at 3, you're still going to have other squads you can run. So right, so if you do, unlike day 1, you could run the same hero 3 times in 3 different squads if you do like 5-man squads, right? So a 5-man squad would cost 5 battle stamina. If you're doing lanes, you could run a 3-man squad and it would cost 3 daily stamina. Or if you, for whatever reason, ran a 4-man squad, it would be 4 daily stamina, right? So it's just a 1-to-1 there. It just kind of like caps out the number of heroes that you can run, right? So you don't have to worry about gaming the system to run, like, do like the 3x, 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 3x strategy, or do the stamina refresh check. Those are all kind of gone, right? It's just straight up, I run this hero, I lose a battle stam, I lose a hero stam. I run a different hero, I lose one of their hero stam, I lose a battle stam, right? So it just kind of like, it simplifies it and makes it a little bit easier. I think it's a nice improvement. You don't have to worry about things so much. Now that we've talked about that, let's talk about pathing and deploy. So you have this wonderful graphic. It was too big. I couldn't get like a image anywhere. So we have a wonderful Atraxi graphic here of kind of like half screenshots merged together to make one map. Of course, there's some overlap and it didn't size right, so it's whatever. Alright, so let's talk about deploy first. So what you're going to want to do, because you'll notice that there are lanes on the left side of the map, but there's no lanes on the right side of the map. This is not a bug. This is how the map works, right? So you only have to clear the lanes where you see an X5. There are no lanes to clear anywhere else, right? It's just up on here, and then here, and then that's it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lanes to clear. That's it. You could potentially just have a 1 person clearing lanes, right? They could run 5 3-man squads day 1, so they could clear out potentially your lanes on your path here, and maybe one of the lanes here on day 1, just to get those cleared out. So let's talk about pathing. All right, so oh, and then you probably just want to have your boss killers. I will put them here, your lane clearer here, and then you can just have your tower clearers deploy as freely. So you want to connect first, and the reason why we're going along the bottom is because if we go here, you'll notice on the bottom, this is where we get Moment of Glory, which is the best buff by far that you can get for Battle Drill, right? So then we are going to go, once we get that, go back here, we can go up this side. The reason why we want to go up the right side, again, is there's no lanes to clear, so it's going to be quicker to go up here. And then we're going to grab the second buff, which is Energy Flow. It's a nice buff. It's not as good as Mog, so we'll get Energy Flow second. Now, you don't have to follow this path. You could go, because once you unlock this tower and this tower, you're going to unlock these paths here. So it's not set. I just picked one just to make it easy. So we're going to go this way. So we're going to unlock here. This tower is the key tower. So you can go this way to unlock it. You can go this way to unlock it. But I'm just going to have us go this way to lock it, right? So we're going to follow path 3. And then we're going to unlock Shadow Aaron. And then after that, we're going to unlock Shadow Merrily, right? So then once these are open, your boss killers can start hitting the sub-bosses with their teams. And then everyone else can just work on tower clear up. Again, the goal is you want to get 90 as quick as possible to get those extra stam. But along the way, you do want to open up the sub-bosses for your boss killers. Again, you can just focus on grabbing towers that you don't necessarily need lanes to get to. And you could save this tower and this tower for when you can clear these 2 lanes to open those up, and then you just have to clean up this lane and this lane to open up the last boss, right? Pretty ideal, gets us our buffs early, gets us connected early, and then allows us to open up the bosses for our boss killers to go, right? So I say boss killers, I just have them kill the sub-bosses, kill the main boss. If the main boss stays up an extra day, we can have everybody else hit the boss as well. It's easier. You don't have to like reset your bench. You don't have to worry about doing any of that stuff and losing stam on your lane clearers and tower clearers if they need to hit the boss the first day or 2 that the main boss is open, because usually early in the season it takes a longer to kill these sub bosses and the main boss, just because we don't have the artifact power, we don't have the levels, and we don't have the charm sets, right? Those 3 things really help us out in downing these things quicker. Now, if we're going to talk about boss killers, how do we determine our boss killers? Typically, I determine the boss killers by going into Dream Realm Records, right? So what I will do is I will go into Dream Realm. I'll discount the current day's ranking. I'm probably going to discount this, just simply because not everyone may have run, or we may be holding off for maximum reso level at this point in the season. So we can usually discount day 1, depending on the time we look. I typically look at the previous few days, right? So here we have, so I'm obviously going to be a boss killer. I want 4. I think 4 is going to be good for this battle drill. We may need to go up to 6, but we'll determine that as needed. But right now we're looking at 4. But if you need to use 6, you can use this same strategy to pick your boss killers, right? So we always go with number 1 from the guild, number 2, number 3. So now we're going to look at, like, so typically 1, 2, 3, all the same. So here's the issue, right? So we have a different person that is 4th from our guild in Dream Realm, and then we have a different person here, right? So what I kind of like did as, and we had another person on the other day that was different, right? But we have Elation here. They're consistently here at 4th the most. They were actually the 4th boss killer that I picked, and I picked them, right, because they have a slightly higher base power than everybody else that was in that potential 4th slot, right? So we want the stronger team because they'll have a wider variety of heroes with a bigger account, or they should, in theory, and they should have more EX weapons, right? So they're going to be a better boss killer there, right? For our boss killers. So that's how I'd pick those. You can just have everybody else kind of like clear lanes and clear towers as needed. All right, so let's go to actual boss teams. Oh, wrong window. All right, let's see, we're here. All right, so let's talk about boss teams. This is the only team here that I actually think I ran on the Pioneer server. I might have run this squad as well. This squad was consistently the best squad that I came up with, consistently around 14 billion. Should be a bit better for me on live, again, because a lot of these heroes are plus 20 for me here, where they were only maybe 15 or 10 on Pioneer, and then we have our Sonya, who's obviously pretty beefy at 25. So this one's legit. You want to run this one for sure on your sub bosses, and then we'll try it out and see how it does on the main boss. This one should be a pretty decent as well, maybe a little less, maybe around like a 10 billion compared to this 14 billion. That's where these typical other squads round it out. Again, Taylene is good here. She's not good for the Grim Executioner boss. At least in Song, she would bug out on the boss and didn't function properly, so we don't want to run her there. So we're actually going to use this for sub-boss, and then we're going to use her Rock and Company for the main boss. Now, you'll notice that I'm running 3 Celestials Hypogeans here, because I wanted to run the twins. We want to make sure we get them in, because they're so good. Then we're running Freyasto, so then we needed to match up, so I threw her Rock in there as a potential another boss killer, because he's usually pretty good. This squad could probably use some tweaking. I don't know if Ludo and Bonnie are the best options here. We may need to rejigger some things and move them around. But I haven't really seen any boss comps posted yet, so this is kind of what I've come up with. Usually these do around 10 billion, at least on the sub-bosses early on. So that's what I'm going to be running. And I think that's it for this one. Again, we got everything here. You can, take a screenshot now of this lovely graphic, post it in your Discord, assign your roles, and good luck. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!